And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I didn't really have a lot to talk about. There was just a few things that I was pondering on the last couple days. And on today's video, I want to just leave it up to you guys, let you ask the questions, and we'll do a live Q&A. And it's something I haven't really done pretty recently on this channel. It's been a while since I've done just one of these one-on-one live Q&A. So I'm going to let you guys more or less control this chat and what we talk about today. Right now, we are still pretty early, so not a lot of people have moved in yet. But there's a couple things I've been thinking about. So the first thing is, so we talk a lot about, modern singles. We talk a lot about modern sealed product. And one of the things I was thinking about recently is it is a potential that right now modern singles with the absolutely crazy amount of modern singles that there is and will be, meaning modern products still being open, the singles market may be flooded forever. But I also think, the returns on sealed modern might be a little stagnant for a little while. So it is a possibility that the single modern market might actually have higher returns than some of the sealed product does. And you would always think that sealed product should rise and not, well, it's always like incomparable, right? So you have the sealed product versus the price of the singles, and then the sealed product is always worth more. But the problem is with all these super new modern sets, the pull rates, and not just the pull rates for some of these sets, in order to actually pull the chase card you're looking for, meaning, let's say you want that big alternative art, that hit card you want. You can be talking potentially having to open up hundreds and hundreds of packs, or you can go out and just potentially buy that card raw on the market. Now, every single card is not going to, you know, play out exactly the same, meaning demand for certain cards will always be drastically different. But I think there is a small percentage of cards in modern that I think right now at their raw prices, because of the oversupply that is modern, might do better in the long term, at least, the next few years, maybe up to 5 years, and will outperform its sealed counterpart. And I think you look at a set like a Chill and Rain, which Chill and Rain booster boxes sitting around that $85 mark. And even if you had some awesome returns of that sealed product in the next 5 years, let's say you had 2 to a 3x return, there are a couple alternative art cards that are sitting at like the $5 to $10 range that I could easily see like 2x or 3x in the next 5 years. And that is for the raw card. And then assuming grading prices come down, you could grade those cards and potentially get like highs of maybe $60 to $70 on some of these cards. I do see that as being a play. Now, how big of a play can that possibly be? Who the hell knows? Like, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, the modern market is just so dangerous, especially when you're going to start going into the single route. So before I started, oh, by the way, before I started filming this video, I have a beer fridge in my garage. I have just like a 2-car garage, but it has a fridge in it, and the fridge is just full of beers. And I went and grabbed a Corona right before this video started. And as I was pulling it out, right on the concrete floor in the garage, smashed, just shattered. So right before I went live, I just had the broom out and I was, scooping up everything. So I should have knew, just stick to Bud Light cans. I learned my lesson, but for today, I'm gonna do Bud Light and Corona. So, but we have 18 people in here. I do want to show you guys my purchase. I did do that in a little bit, but like I mentioned right at the start of this video, before you guys tuned into the chat, if you guys have any questions you want answered today, now will be one of those days. But anybody who's watching this video after the fact and is just tuning in now, I will show you guys something right now on the screen. I had this made. Let me see. And if you guys are listening to this just with my voice and you're not looking at the screen, definitely now is the time. I think you should look at the screen. So this is a play mat I had made. I don't know if you guys remember during mine and Echoes live, I had made a thumbnail. So I just went and got it turned into a play mat. So you can see the back side is just the play mat, but this is the front side. So I made this thumbnail and I was pretty happy for it. So now this will probably be my new background. I'm thinking Obviously, if you guys are not new to this channel, you know my thumbnail and my background is always like the Last Supper theme. But because I love this card so much and I love this artwork, and it has that super crazy Nirvana Nevermind, or like the Nirvana feel from the album cover, obviously with the baby, but instead we have Squirtle. And then I got Knowledge right here. I don't know why on the camera everything always looks like it's spelled backwards, but it's not. And now the card I chose as the background is the Squirtle, but it's the reverse hollow. So you see the energy symbols in the background too. And the energy symbols actually came out pretty good. You got like the water, the fire, and the fight and energy. Right there is a grass energy symbol. So I don't know. In person, this thing is actually pretty cool. I was super happy with it. It only cost me $19.99 to make this playmat, and I'm definitely very happy with it. So yeah, I'll probably show this off one more time during this live just because I'm so proud of how well it came out. And no, I'm definitely like super excited for that. And Basic Trainer said merch when. No. Basic, this is something I did for myself for fun. I can't start selling stuff that has Pokemon on it. Otherwise, I'll just be asking myself for a lawsuit. No, I think it's fella Chris said that artwork is a card also. Yeah. So that's the Squirtle from Fire Red Leaf Green. It's a card. I've actually talked about that card a few times now on my channel. So Hugh J says, just watch your live with Danny. Great content. Can't wait for your next guest. Appreciate that. And so for everybody else out there, I know I've been having a couple issues with my microphone. If you guys could let me know if like the gain needs to be turned down right now, or if the gain needs to be turned up a little bit. I did want to do this live just to get this mic working properly. I don't know if I'm too close to it or what, but you guys could let me know. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Justin Pan says, is that a hand towel type thing? No, this is not a hand towel. This is a actual playmat, but I'm super proud of it. So so yeah. Let's see. So people said sound seems good. All right. Marty said he's never had an issue with the sound of my voice. Okay. Yeah, no, there's been a couple things that I just kind of been wanting to talk about. Is I don't know if you guys looked or any of you guys follow the Pwcc auctions, but Sunday night, so yesterday, I didn't buy one single card, and I actually had some money in my Pwcc like account, and every single card that I wanted to purchase sold for a lot higher than I was willing to pay. There was a couple real nice like Nintendo era EX cards and CGC 9s and CGC 8.5s, and I had bid on every single one of them like right or real early on the auctions. And if you guys know how the Pwcc auctions work, you have to bid on the cards as early as possible. So when they do go into extended bidding, if you don't want to buy the card, you don't have to, but at least you're eligible to bid on it in the extended auction. So you have to bid on it prior. So I had bid on all these not all these reverse hollows, all these Nintendo EX cards. And all the prices for them sold for like super, super high dollar amounts. There was one I really wanted. We talked about Fire Red Leaf Green earlier, but there was the Clefairy from Fire Red Leaf Green, the EX. There was a CGC 9. It went for like big time money. Like every single card went for a lot, and especially like a lot of the Nintendo tin promos. So like you have like the Rayquaza EX. It was a tin promo. I think there was a CGC 8 went for like a crazy amount of money. Like every single card I wanted to buy and I thought I could pick up for the cheap ended up going pretty high. There was a Starmie for Skyridge PSA 10. I've had pretty good luck on the most recent, well, not the most recent, probably like 2 Pwcc auctions ago, picking up some Skyridge 10 hollows for pretty cheap. Now, this Starmie was the only single PSA 10 in that auction block, so maybe it helped it, but even that card sold for like $200 more than I was hoping it was going to sell for. So I don't know what's going on. It's either one or two things. One, the market as a whole is way better than I think the market actually is. Or number two, just the cards I'm looking at are selling for a lot. And even cards that I thought, like there was a Meganium EX that was a PSA 6. I was like, you know what? That's a nice like binder copy card. Like maybe because I don't want to like get into too much what I do, but I do sell raw cards on eBay through a separate eBay account, and I do like to pick up near mint cards and crack them and sell them as near mint because you get decent money for those. And I'm like, that could be a good card to sell raw. That card in a PSA 6 sold for an incredibly high amount of money, and I'm just like, either the EX market is about the pop or people are just acquiring. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Ketchum All Collectibles wants me to sing. No, guys, feel free to ask questions. Basic Trainer says he hasn't bought anything since the Pony Chew, and that's because the card he looks at go more than usual. It's a bit weird. Yeah, it's definitely going a bit weird. And if any guys want to just hop in on this chat, feel free to shoot me out a message. Catch them all collectibles if you guys want. I just want to bullshit for a couple, probably till 11 p.m. Eastern. So maybe an hour and a half, unless we want to go earlier. Dan said, auction just vary a ton. Inherently, people will say PWCC is high for a month and then it's low for a month. Auction just vary a ton, especially on a smaller platform. And he's right. Like PWCC has some of the craziest swings in prices. And see Rattle in the chat. Rattle definitely has a lot of opportunities now to pick up all his first edition cards for his binder collection. I think, and it's crazy what he's doing. He's picking them up all in near mint graded. I think the last two cracks he did were CGC first edition cards because they're super cheap right now. I mean, especially for like an 8.5. So a very nice near mint card. Sometimes these cards are actually selling for closer or less than the raw value. And yeah, I guess that's always kind of been the truth. People always see a near mint card and they always have the thought in the back of the head, oh, maybe this is actually a 10, but who knows? PK or Professor Oak said, PK, what's your opinion on people's opinions? I think opinions are like assholes and everybody's got one, Professor Oak. And Justin said, what do you think of the Japanese exclusive sets in Neo series? Some of my favorite cards, no idea why they didn't make them hollow in English. I am curious which sets he's talking about, or sorry, which hollows he's talking about. I mean, I've heard a couple people talk about like, the Japanese Neo sets recently, and mainly like Japanese Shinings. Now, I don't think you're talking about the Shining cards, obviously, because you're talking about Japanese exclusive hollows. But it's weird. Like, I'm not a big Japanese collector. I'm not a big Japanese investor, so I'm probably not the best person to talk about for stuff like that. But I definitely would say that Japanese cards were. See, it depends how you look at it. If Japanese cards are undervalued, overvalued, it's like a weird line. Cheval says there's been some solid licks. People are broke and scared with everything going on. The uncertainty and people are receiving their long-awaited PSA orders, so some stuff falls between the cracks. And you're right. I think there's a lot of people are just trying to liquidate what they can, especially some of these bulk submissions that they're getting back from PSA, because anytime you grade cards, especially when it comes to PSA, unless you do have just a ton of liquid cash in the bank, normally, I wouldn't say for everybody, but for most people or a good amount, anytime you get your PSA returns back, you probably already have a couple cards in the back of your head that are part of that submission that you're looking to liquidate relatively quick to at least recoup your grading fees. Because grading fees can be a lot. If you have even a 200 card submission at $10 grade, and that's still like a $2,000 bill you're going to get hit with. So if you have a couple cards you want to liquidate on the market, at least to recoup that $2,000, and then maybe you decide to say, okay, I've recouped my initial investment in the graded. Now it comes time where I'm just going to slowly trickle these cards into the market, or maybe do selective auctions or buy it now prices, but maybe some of my buy it now prices will be priced in a way that I will actually make money on these cards, stuff like that. So if the entire market does take a big pullback, which we're seeing to an extent, I would say that there's definitely areas of the market that are still, performing relatively strong with all things considered. But I would definitely say, like, yeah, some people could be trying to fire sale these cards now. This is a tricky thing. A lot of the returns that are coming back right now that you would think would flood the market would probably be more the bulkier type submissions. So you got to ask, what were people sending under the bulk tier? If you're like me, you like to send everything under bulk and hope you don't get upcharged out your ass. Or a lot of people, maybe a lot of people did send some pretty high end cards under the bulk tier. It'd be a good person to ask would be like Z and G when he was on one of my more recent lives. And I asked him, because he was saying how he had a couple submissions behind him that people hadn't even paid for yet. So I asked him, I was like, dude, can you do me a favor and open up that submission? Because I'm curious, what did people send? And you can look at his return videos. A lot of it is super modern stuff and not a ton of vintage stuff. But let's see. Basic said he agrees with Dan, but the whole recession combo would make me think people I lost it. People would be discouraged, yeah. Let's see. People are talking about Basics taste being expensive. So Aiden M said, CGC are legit looking into grading VHS tapes. What would your holy grail VHS tape be? Dude, I know nothing about the VHS sealed market. Like, you want to talk about things I don't know about and I shouldn't talk about, that would probably be like number one or number two on the list. And to all the haters out there, would probably say the number one thing I shouldn't talk about is Pokemon. But for all the non-haters out there, VHS might be number one. And I don't know, what would my holy grail VHS tape be? I think there's some cool VHS artworks, like the original Michael Keaton Batman one, where it's just like the bat symbol. But I don't know, man. Good luck. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of sealed VHS tapes out there. Let's see. Valiant Thor said, random channel surfing. Well, good to see you in here. Hope you're enjoying the random conversation we're having today. Justin said he thinks there's something like 3 exclusive Neo Rev hollows in Japanese that were non-hollows in English. Pretty sure there could be others and other sets like Neo Discovery. Like I said, I'm not 100% certain on the Japanese variants, but you said Booyah said Little Rascals. I made my mom rent that movie so much. Well, yeah, if you're gonna go with like kids movies, I don't really want to talk about graded VHS. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. But any Disney movies, Little Giants, I could rock a Little Giants graded VHS. Ninja Turtles, Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, Ninja Turtle 3. I don't know, when they go to Japan, and I'm not a big fan of that one. My wife in the background just said 3 ninjas. I'm on the live. Martin said, or Marty the Martian said, Poke Knowledge, how do you feel about Japanese cards in the current market? Do you think only certain sets are shining right now? Like I said, I am not the person to talk about the Japanese market. I don't hold a lot of Japanese sealed. Like, I think if you're going to ask me like things I'm more familiar with, like Japanese e-reader sets, stuff like that, I think Japanese e-reader sets are one of the very, see it. I was going to say it's one of the very few plays where like sealed packs were still relatively undervalued, but even that has changed. Like English e-reader sets for a little while were definitely undervalued in my opinion. Like I'll give you an example. Like expedition heavy packs were definitely undervalued for a little while in the current Pokemon market. And then like the Skyridge Japanese equivalent packs were definitely undervalued for a while. And they were even undervalued in like the graded slabs. But I feel like the market has figured out all that stuff. That's the thing. Right now, the market has figured out what was undervalued at one point and has kind of brought everything back to a level where maybe should have always been, or at least should be right now with the current climate. Now, I think the way the entire hobby morphed a little bit, just going after like the sealed pack route has changed a lot, but it's interesting. Cheval says Jurassic Park CGC 10 ready for the release. New Moon. Yeah, OG actors. Dude, I don't even remember like all the movies I watched as a kid. I could think of most of them, but I'm curious if you guys did purchase any cards on the last night's PWCC auctions, especially Ketchum Collectibles. Let's see. I can't believe I dropped that Corona when I started the live. But yeah, so anybody who's just joining now, I know I already showed it off at the beginning, but I will show it off one more time in this live. And if you guys are listening to this after the fact and you're listening to the recording, I definitely suggest you look at the screen right now. I'm just so proud of how this came out. This is a play mat I got. This will definitely be my background from now on. But Professor Oak said, I just got a Target Pikachu promo. I wonder which one you're talking about. Kevin Clare said, what was the movie where Sinbad was a genie? That wasn't Shazam. No, Shazam was Shaquille O'Neal. Sinbad. I could ask my wife. Hey wife, what was the movie where Sinbad was a genie? Oh, she said Kazam. What was the one with Shaq? No, she just said. Oh, so Basic Trainer said, at Poke Knowledge, have you checked out SM Pratt's video on modern investing thoughts? I did watch that video. I think he is right. I think he says what a lot of people don't want to hear when it comes to modern. He talks about, like, and this is where the big argument is, or the big conversation is. I think it's a good one, right? So he talks about, one of the big things about modern is that it's just not rare. It just has a new sort of collector that is now in the hobby. And that new sort of collector is the sealed product collector, which, like we've talked about in the past, those people existed, but they never existed at the level we're seeing today. And then he talks about, like the rarity and, scarcity of some of this more vintage stuff. And that is a great argument to have. So he talks about like, Trophy Kangaskhan's and stuff like that. I think he mentions in his videos, and, university magic cards and stuff like that. Like, nobody's worried about reprints of those cards. So what I think Scott was trying to like talk about in that video is the uncertainty that modern is, because for modern to have continued to go up and up and up. Sorry, my wife just handed me a note. No, the one where Sinbad's a genie, not where he's a.
Sinbad's not a genie. Shaq is a genie.
Oh. But like he talks about is that rarity and scarcity factor. And when you talk about modern, the big danger of modern is how easily destroyed the modern market is. And we've already kind of seen that happen. Like modern is a house of cards when you think about it, because the way modern is looked at from an investability standpoint is it's all about trying to time the market when it comes to modern. And timing the market in modern, you really have to be smart. Like you really have to know that you're getting in at the bottom, because potential growth in modern, while it could look really good, a simple reprint could destroy prices. One of the booster boxes people are talking about recently, I'd say there's probably two. Well, there's a couple, but like the earlier Sword and Shield sets, Sword and Shield base, and then Rebel Clash. If either one of those products gets a reprint, the market for those is just destroyed. Now, do I think Rebel Clash or Sword and Shield base booster boxes have a high likelihood of reprints? No, I don't. But I think that there is a very, very small possibility that that will happen. And if that does happen, prices evaporate. Darkness Ablaze ETBs. Look at what happened with reprints of those. You can go on to pretty much like any Walmart, any Target in the nation, and potentially pick up either Darkness Ablaze or Vivid Voltage ETBs. And if you're lucky, you could probably pick up both of them. And that's just one simple reprint. Could just overnight slash the product in half, 50% and right back down to MSRP. And for some of these, we saw them actually drop down to like the $32 mark just because people were trying to move these things and they couldn't. So that is the danger of modern. Now, a lot of people say modern will just continue to go up. And this is a crazy thing, is people don't think I like modern. I do like modern. And in fact, I would have thought, until other people have told me that I'm wrong, I would have thought that I was actually a modern like investing channel. And I guess people don't think that, but I've talked about modern on this channel a ton. And I do think modern is in a way investable, but I just understand the risk. And that's why I don't like to talk about investing in modern, because when I look at modern, I always look at like risk factors. And my risk tolerance when it comes to modern is going to be drastically different than a lot of other people. So like, that's why I'm fine with investing in modern, but I do struggle with talking about investing in modern, because at the end of the day, if I lose money, I got nobody to point fingers at, and I don't have to feel bad. I just say, oh, I lost some money in modern, like move on to the next thing. But if somebody were to take my advice and lose a lot of money, and maybe they weren't in the same financial position, or they were really banking on that product going up in a much smaller time frame, it's a much smaller window, so maybe they could get beat up a lot. And there's a lot of modern products recently that if you purchase, you would have lost money on, like with the exception of Sun and Moon, which I am pretty amazed actually with how few people own Sun and Moon booster boxes. Like, I don't think of Cosmic Eclipse or Team Up or Unbroken Bonds or Unified Minds or I don't think of these sets as being old sets. And I think about these sets as being like super modern sets that a lot of people are holding on to right now. But I am always pretty interested with how many people don't own like a Cosmic Eclipse booster box or a Team Up or Unbroken Bonds or Unified Minds. Like, that number is actually like drastically less than the same amount of people that own, say, a Vivid Voltage booster box or a Evolving Skies booster box. Like, I'm just amazed at how drastic that is, because I think of both of those being modern. And I think maybe what happens is we now, our timeline for modern just gets so super shrunken, right? So, and I think a lot of that is the newer collectors coming into the hobby, and they really only started buying stuff that was available to them. And, if you were to ask me, like, what are the top 5 investments, one of them I would say, like, for modern, like getting cases of booster boxes for some of these sets. Like, like, did I see a case of 6 Evolving Skies booster boxes being a good investment if you had a distributor agreement and you got it for $82.50 or $86.50, depending on, who you are? Do I think if you were able to get a case of 4 UPCs from your distributor and you want to sit on them and put them in a back room and wait for them to appreciate, at whatever your UPC price was as from your distributor, like, yeah, those are good. Or, Brilliant Stars, again, at $86.50, if you got them straight from your distributor, if you want to put a case or 2, tuck them away, like, sure, those are fine investments, but not everybody could get those for such super low prices. So what I think Scott is trying to say is just the rarity that is involved in modern is just so much different than all other times in the hobby. And it is a very tough comparison to do, because what the big driving factor, and for modern, but it's the same for vintage, right? Is for vintage, in order for your vintage product to increase in value, you need somebody that's willing to pay more for that than you were. And then for modern, it's the same thing. In order for your modern product to be investable, you need the person you're going to sell it to in the future to want to pay more for that than you paid for it. This is the huge caveat, is for modern products, you can have to have 20,000 people or 30,000 people want to buy that. Otherwise, if you don't have 30,000 people wanting to buy that card or that booster box, the prices for that, it might be very stagnant for a long time. Meaning, if you have 30,000 Chill and Rain booster boxes available on the market, or 10,000 Charizard, or what is it, 20,000 Charizard V promos from Champion's Path or stuff like this, that means you need a higher number of people that want that card than is available, than that card or that product is on the market. Now, in the very short term, is it possible to see these pretty high returns, which we've seen? Yes. Now, when you look at a vintage card that might have a PSA 10 population of 10, well, how many people do you now need to want to buy that card and own that card for the price of that card to go up? You only need 11 people to want that card for that PSA 10 that has a population of 10. You only need 11 people to want that card, because if you have that one extra guy, he'll be willing to pay money. Now, let's say you have a PSA card and PSA 10 with the population of 10, but you have 30 people that wants that card. Now the demand is triple what the supply of that card is. Now, when you segue that same thought process to modern, and you have 10,000 available Chill and Rain booster boxes that exist on the market or in people's collections, or that would potentially be available. Now, instead of only needing 30 people for the price of something to skyrocket, now with a supply of 10,000, you might need like 20,000 people to want that, or 11,000 people, or 30,000 people. And now this is the problem too, is when you look at some of the really old stuff, or the stuff that has a lot of like scarcity or rarity to it, people have been hunting these things for years. People that have acquired a lot of these really are some of the real true collectors in this hobby. And they might only own one, and that could be a grail hunt for them, or something that took them a long time to do. Modern product is a lot different. Modern product will be one of those very weird times where people will just own so much of this stuff. Like if somebody in the chat right now told me, listen, I have 3 cases of Chill and Rain. I have 2 cases of Battle Styles. I have 4 cases of Evolving Skies. I have 3 cases or 4 cases of Ultra Premium Collection. None of that would shock me. Now, if the same person out there said, I have 4 cases of, Crystal Guardian booster boxes, that would surprise me. Or if they said, I have, an entire case of Dragon Frontiers, that would surprise me. But this is the thing, right? If everybody who's in the hobby right now in the short term are picking up this stuff because they want it, and they're having multiples of it, because one of the things you'll hear from people very often is that they're buying at a very minimum. A lot of people are buying one to hold and one to either open or one to sell in the future. So if you have that mindset, for a lot of people in the hobby, where you have a lot of people that now have one that's part of their PC and they're content with that, but they still have that one to sell, like that could be dangerous. And dangerous is subjective, right? Because we just don't know, because time hasn't ran out long enough. Let's see. Wait a second. Check does Dan Ketchum all collectible? Oh yeah. Let's get Dan in on this. Let's see. We got Dan from Ketchum Collectibles in here. Let's see. This will be fun to have Dan in because I would be curious of what some of Dan's thoughts are. I might have to do it old school and take a photo of it for him. Yeah, no, I think what Scott's video did was he brought up a lot of good points, but I don't think it's as easy as what I just said either. I think a big part of it is talking about how much this market has changed too. And in order for modern to continue to be investable, which I believe it could be, I actually think modern could be investable and stay investable. But in order for that to happen, the demand has to grow. Because right now, for a lot of modern, not all of it, I mean, there's definitely the outliers. I can think of the outliers from my head where the supply outweighed demand. Evolution premium collection boxes, Celebrations ultra premium collections. Those things stick out where the supply, wasn't enough to meet demand. But then when I think of, well, what products do exist where supply was able to meet demand? And the problem is I could think of way more products where the demand actually was there to meet demand. And the products that I think of that actually did meet demand were you have, battle styles, chill and rain, especially when it comes to ETBs and booster boxes, the supply was enough to meet the demand. Hey, Dan, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
My sound good?
Sounds good. Appreciate you joining in.
Appreciate you having me on. Let me get the chat pulled up.
Yeah. So you saw my play mat though, right?
I did. I'm a big fan of play mats, and that is a really cool art.
Yeah, and especially because it's got my name on it now.
I like it.
And I made it too myself. I mean, I obviously didn't make the card art, but with the dollar bill and stuff, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was your thumbnail for the Echo Base live, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be my background now. Maybe I'll have to, after this video is over, do a repack and open it on screen.
That thumbnail game is strong.
Yeah.
I like it. All those little promo videos too.
Yeah. So what did you think of Scott's video? Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it. I think it's gonna be responded to heavily by the open mouth modern investing YouTubers that he was kind of talking to. But I think he made a lot of good points. I've also cautioned. I made a video before solely to the point that I don't like using the word investing. A lot of people use it just to mean I'm going to buy this and it's going to go up and I'm going to sell it at some later date, which I do operate in that fashion. It's just, I've been in this 8 years. 8 years ago, I used to do it with like 1 or 2 boxes. I'd set back of every set. And then 5 or 6 years ago, it became 1 or 2 cases.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like 5 to 10, if not 20 cases is what I hope to scale to. And I'm one guy, and there's a lot of people like doing business like me that are doing the same thing. And then there's a lot of like collectors just stuck them in their closet too. So there's going to be a lot
and
more.
That is a huge difference, Dan, to go from one art set of a set to multiple booster boxes. And I think that is a very rare thing. And not only is it a very rare thing, it's very rare on the level of which collectors are doing it. Meaning it's collectors that probably like didn't even own a base set pack, now own a case of some modern booster box. Like it's just such a massive swing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one thing. Like I think it's a reasonable play. I mean, I'm acquiring all this product at $80-ish per box. That's what those people have to know that they're up against. Like if people are doing it with money that they actually have, not on credit, And if they are doing it knowing that they're up against businesses getting the product for 80, but some of these people, I mean, I remember when Battle Styles launched, when Battle Styles came out, I sold my cases for 900 a piece, 150 a box. And people are trying to invest in modern product at that cost basis of a product that, like, that was at launch. That was when history has told us it's going to be a 2-year print window. And history has also showed us in the cases of like evolutions, it might well be a 4 or 5 year print window.
Well, I just looked at this. So when Echo was on my channel, I had talked to that Pokemon sleeve blisters were up on Pokemon Center for $3.99 a piece. I bet you if you went to TCG Player right now and looked at sold listings for Evolve and Skies booster boxes, I bet you there were sales of Evolve and Skies booster boxes today. And I bet you if you went on eBay and you went sold listings and looked at Evolve and Skies booster boxes, I guarantee you there was sold listings for Evolve and Skies booster boxes. When you can go on Pokemon Center and buy 36 packs, if the argument out there is people are telling me, no, people aren't buying these booster boxes as investments. They're buying these booster boxes to open them. And that's the argument everyone always like, you can't really win it because it's like, all right, fine. If you're just opening it to enjoy it, like go for it. But don't tell me people are spending $50 over what you can get it on Pokemon Center to enjoy it. Like, because at that point, your argument doesn't mean anything because you can do it. And I don't know if you've seen pull rates. I don't know if it's like a conspiracy thing, but the pull rates for some of these Evolve and Skies blisters have been insane. I
was going to say, like, people have all these different theories, and I don't even know what the most common ones are, but people have these theories. And I'm just making this up as I go because I see it every different way. But like ETBs are good and tins are bad and collection boxes are good. Like they'll go to Target and they'll buy like 2 tins and 1 ETB, and their ETB will get better hits. So then that will be proof that like of the millions of packs printed, the sample sizes that people work with, it's silly.
Don't worry. I do the same thing with 3-pack blisters. I'll open 3 packs and I'm like, that's it. Crack the code.
Yeah. There's all kinds of theories out there like that. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. If you're looking to simply open Evolving Skies, if you can buy them for $3.99 on Pokemon Center, you know they're not weighed, you know they're not tampered. That's $144 for a box worth. You're saving, like you said, $40. I mean, that's a no-brainer if you're looking to open.
But that's why I don't think people are doing that. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that people are buying those booster boxes as investments. Can I guarantee a reprint of Evolve and Skies? No one's going to guarantee a reprint. But if you were to ask most people in this hobby, if you had to say what's the one set most likely to get a reprint, maybe with the exception of Brilliant Stars, which literally Astral Radiance hasn't been released, I would say Evolve and Skies would probably be people's number one.
Yeah, because I mean, it's an easy target because like, look at the sets that are within a 2-year window. It doesn't make sense for them to go back and print more Battle Styles. I can call up my distributor tomorrow and order a pallet of Battle Styles if I want. Same for Chilling Reign, same for Fusion Strike. So the main target for reprint would be either Brilliant Stars or Evolving Skies, because Pokemon can look at the secondary market and they can see that, hey, this box is at 180. If we print 100,000 Evolving Skies booster boxes and call up the distributors, every distributor is going to take every ounce of that product, and they know, because they know they're going to call up their people. They're going to call up me, and I'm going to say, yeah, please let me buy it at 80 like normal. And even if they don't, if they charge me 100, I'm going to take it all too. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Danny Phantom, you actually had on. I lose track of. Well, that was just a couple days ago, right? Or last night?
Saturday night. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So 2 nights ago, he's doing a what's he calling it? A Danny Phantom reprint.
Yeah,
he's giving away a box.
Yeah, he's so confident Evolve and Skies is going to get a reprint that he's giving out a booster box every week until that reprint happens. And I think he gave himself like a cutoff, maybe like to the end of the year or something.
The end of the year. So yeah, he limited it to like, that's still, he's going to give away like 5 cases worth if we don't get one by the end of the year. But yeah, I mean, that's a nice thing of him, and it shows his confidence that one is coming. But yeah, the way that I operate, when a set releases, I take all I'm allocated. And then, like in the case of Battle Styles Chilling Reign, I'm buying a little bit more now that it's available and now that I can. But usually towards that 2-year window, when I think that it's going to be going out of print, when the distributor gives last call, that's when I like to pick up a bunch more of it, because you don't want to buy it all at release and then sit on dead money for 2 years. But I've sold down. I'm not completely sold out of Evolving Skies, but I probably only have 3 or 4 boxes left, and I'm selling like one a week at just whatever the market price is. And one thing that I've heard people talking about, and it feels plausible, not trying to create FOMO of any kind, or I mean, I'm hopeful for a large reprint that'll knock it right back down under 120. But one thing that could happen is if it's a smaller size reprint, my distributor might say, hey, we've got 6 boxes for you at 120 a piece if you want them. And the market might just bottom out at 140 or 150, might bottom out at like MSRP. Who knows?
I think the danger there is if Pokemon Center gets ETBs, because if Pokemon Center, or sorry, it's not ETBs, booster boxes. Because if Pokemon Center gets a shitload of Evolving Skies booster boxes and they have them all priced at the 144, that's going to be the price ceiling for that product until we eat through the Pokemon Center, allocations. And then, but before you're going to eat through the Pokemon Center allocations, all the prices will be priced lower than that until we eat up everybody else's in order to get to the higher price Pokemon Center stuff. That's the danger there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that set theoretically should be in print for another
year,
18 months, if not.
That's a long time for people to be, I don't know, call it gambling or hedging their bets that there's not going to be a reprint.
In the way, I mean, you can look back at history, and most sets are in print for 2 years, but then the people who want, like I always say, numbers don't lie and data doesn't lie, but people can take different stories from the same data, I guess. If you look at like a team up or whatever, if you look at some of those sets that were supposed to get reprints and then never did, and the prices are just crazy. So yeah, I don't know. But I personally don't have a ton of Evolving Skies. I don't have very much at all.
Because you sold through it, or?
Yeah, I sold through it, assuming that I'd be getting a reprint fairly quickly. But I have not as much as I'd like, but I'm selling slower my Darkness Ablaze, because that one's right about 2 years now, I think.
Yep.
From when it was released. That one. Again, don't take anything I say. Don't make investment decisions off of what I'm saying. I'm speculating, but I would be not shocked if Darkness Ablaze were to not get another reprint. That one's actually still under the 2 years.
I don't think it will get a reprint personally. I think the market's not needing that supply right now. So I just don't see that as being a candidate right now, but anything is possible. I think that there's just other sets right now that are higher likelihoods of, and with the exception of Brilliant Stars, again, Brilliant Stars just being released, I can't believe we're talking. And this is the kind of stuff that drives me nuts, is like talking about reprints for a set that is literally the only set currently on the market, like the newest set. So like I don't even like that conversation. But if you look back on every other like Sword and Shield era set, none of them make sense to reprint, with the exception of Evolving Skies. And then if you wanted to say, well, maybe they could reprint some celebrations and reprint ultra premium collections, but then again, Pokemon went out of their way to say that they weren't going to do that. So that would be a very weird. That would make some great content, though. I would love to make a video and say, like, what was Pokemon doing here if they did decide to do that?
Oh, it would be wild if they reprinted ultra premium collections. It would be definitely a lot of YouTube content.
I'm still banking on Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETB reprint. I still think that is possible because of how quick those Pokemon Center Evolving Skies ETBs sold out, and we never saw any kind of major restock. We saw like it just trickle on like real quick, but nothing that I I would definitively say like, oh yeah, this was a second restock or another reprint. Like, but we've already seen it now with Fusion Strike. We saw celebrations on there forever. Brilliant Stars, tons of Pokemon Center ETBs, Astral Radiance, Pokemon Center ETBs, tons of those. So I would not be surprised if we got to see those. Now, the only one I would be super surprised about would be the Chill and Rain ETB reprint, only because they had that like printing issue where they put the 8 packs in opposed to the 10, and then they sent the 2 out there. So if that were to happen, like they would have to make it the 10 pack ETBs, and then would ETBs then become weighable and like all this weird like
Yeah.
weird stuff would go on there. I find that less likely, but nothing is impossible, right? Because I don't know. What do you think
Yeah.
about the chances of Pokemon Center Evolving Skies ETB reprint?
I just pulled up on eBay. They're the lowest list looks like 140 or 150 a piece. So it's one of those like Evolving Skies is an obvious reprint target, both Pokemon Center ETB and Booster Box. I mean, Pokemon is a business. They look to make money. They look to just move product. If they stocked up 10,000 Pokemon Elite Trainer Box, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box ETBs, they're probably gone by lunch tomorrow, if not midnight tonight.
Well, imagine you're the guy. So there's 2 different artworks for Pokemon Center ETBs. So imagine you're the guy that went out and bought one of each artwork at 150. Then you bought a booster box for 180. That means you're into Evolving Skies for a booster box and 2 Pokemon Center ETBs for $480. That is super, super risky. Like you are, but you know what? Maybe that guy will be right and we never get reprints. And that guy is the smartest guy out there, but I would not say that will happen.
My take is always like it's fine to miss things.
Oh, yeah.
I know like it's hard for collectors sometimes to deal with that or to live with that reality, but everyone has a limited budget. I don't care how big you are. I mean, I'm a very small in the realm of businesses, but being a business, I'm a lot of volume, a lot of product compared to like a collector. But when I miss out on something and the entry price, like I don't want to get into something at 2 times the entry price that most people got into it at within 6 months of it releasing when it could still be reprinted. Like
Evolving Skies, the entry level is 3x what people got in.
And imagine if your budget, like there are people out there with a $50 a month budget that need to save up 2 months to get 1 booster box. Like if I was that person, I would be saving for like Astral Radiance right now. I would be saving for Pokemon Go to get whatever products I want from that. If you blow 6 months of your budget on one thing and then it gets reprinted, I mean, that can be like majorly devastating to your ability to collect. So,
yeah. And then you would think Pokemon, and then your argument to everybody would be Pokemon is not investable. And then everybody would kind of be sitting back and being like, oh my God, listen, where do we even start with this? Like, how do you start that conversation? You know, it's like, where were you during all these lives?
yeah. I at the end of the day, like that, I think that's just a very important thing. Like it's fine to miss things. That there are just so many great things out there. There are so many great things in the 25-year history that you can go back and collect for cheap in times of like crazy FOMO hype, low modern product availability. And then just like make sure you're buying the things when they're there. Like if you got in after Battle Styles, if you got in after Chilling Rain, if you got in after like buy these ones that are $80 right now, shipped to your door. That's what I pay for my distributors. Like there are weeks where my distributor will reach out to me and say, hey, we've got all the Chilling Rain, all the Battle Styles you want. And I'm like, you guys are telling me a price that's more than on eBay. It's like, I would like, oh yeah, I want 4 cases of it, but I'm going to eBay right now. Like, can you beat this? Oh no, just buy it there. Literally, I've been told that from distributors.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like no one really knows. And that's the thing. But I try to, like talk to people and say like, even though we don't know, I think it's important to at least have these discussions, like talk about the pros, talk about the cons, because there are tons of pros to investing in modern, which I wish Scott did talk about a little bit more of the pros, because I do believe that there are a lot of pros to modern. And the big pro being that, potentially people that re-entered this era would have a lot of attachment to it. Like you've mentioned it yourself. You have an attachment to Phantom Forces, right?
Yep.
Why do you have an attachment to Phantom Forces?
That was my re-entry point. Yeah, that was the first set.
Exactly.
Scott
So
has mentioned it in different videos. Like we're in a golden age. Like I think he enjoys modern a lot. He's
I
just
do too.
trying to be. I think,
Realistic.
and I'm on the same page with him as far as like, I think in the Pokemon space, we don't need too much more positivity towards the investment possibilities within Pokemon. Like I think it's fairly prevalent in our hobby that in our age group, even you look at average 401k balances by age, and like traditional investments are largely shunned. So to talk too positively about the prospects for investing in sealed Pokemon product, especially potentially going into a recession with what the stock market's doing right now. I mean, some people will say, look at what the stock market did today. I'm glad I bought Evolving Skies because that's still up. And it's just, yeah, that gets into the broader thing of like, don't do things on credit card with leverage. Make sure you have some core foundation and stability in your income. And yeah, I don't know.
I do need to talk about that more, like just don't be over leveraging yourself on stuff. But I think I do take for granted that some of the listeners of this video are not the average person, and like I'll give you a perfect example. And I think that this one example sums up the entire hobby, right? So Rattle was in the chat earlier. I don't know if Rattle's still there, but you think about what did Rattle do? Rattle did one of the most important things that this hobby has ever seen, and potentially one of the biggest we will ever see. He exposed a multi-million-dollar fake first edition case, exposed it to the world, got news organizations to pick it up, got multiple websites to pick it up. Every single Pokemon tuber and their mother was talking about. Every Discord was talking about it. Every person I know who's a Pokemon collector was talking about it. That video, with all that, he changed the way BBCE, the way sports cards and sport, baseball and football and basketball, like these are multi-million-dollar collectibles, Michael Jordan rookies and sealed Fleer 1988 boxes, like they were authenticating them. People were opening them. He changed the entire landscape of this hobby. One person did that. Dan, that video has like 118,000 views. The video PokeRev did yesterday of opening a mystery box has 225,000 views. So after everything I just said, everything Rattle did, news organizations, websites, people, you name it, changed the hobby as we know it. That video has 118,000 views, and PokeRev's mystery box video from yesterday has 225,000. That sums up how nuanced the conversation we have when it comes to investing in Pokemon. Like there's such a different group out there than what we think about.
Yeah, there's 50 people in here watching now, which I can't see from my phone, but make sure you hit that like button if you haven't yet. Only 17. But these 50 people, in this or is my chat not updated?
It's like,
but to be over an hour into a live stream talking about like the market dynamics of Pokemon, that is so far and away from like the average consumer. Like Pokemon printed, what was it? 3.7 billion cards between March of 2020 and March of 2021. The vast majority of those cards were bought by people who will never watch a video like this.
No.
Who a lot of them will never grade a card. It's getting more now to where graded cards are more of a thing, but Yeah, I mean, this is like a very niche part of the hobby, the community for sure.
And out of that, all those people buying Pokemon and going in, and you're like, hey, why are you buying this? And maybe they'll tell you I'm buying it because I'm invested in this, ETB from Walmart at $45 or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. You might be right. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna have hey, you want to come subscribe to my channel and watch the, I don't know, 80 hours where I discuss this one ETB, more or less just talk about it in different ways through different videos and stuff. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or you ask them about like that, fake first edition case, which we will talk about that forever in some aspect of this hobby. At least, nobody's going to let that die. Like that's going to be talked about for a long time, and probably it's going to be talked about pretty recent, pretty soon when, like the lawsuits, start to really play out and stuff like that, and the real players start to get exposed. But the fact that that has 118,000 views, it blows my mind. And I think sometimes I lose sight too of how super engaged we are with this hobby. And we are we might not be like the 1% of highest spenders, but maybe we are, because when we talk, we're always like, because we could think of people out there that spend so much more money than us, right? Like I'm sure off the top of your head, you could think of probably 10 people who spend way more money on Pokemon cards than you do easily.
Oh yeah.
But maybe we are part of the 1% of spenders, but the people when we think of the 1% are actually part of the 0.00001% of spenders. But because the way our minds think, if we just think about those guys, it's like, yeah, well, my first edition holo set isn't all in tens. It's only in eights and nines and some tens. And then some people are like, there's some people will never own a single first edition 10 or a 9 in their entire life. Like our brains are so jaded to this hobby, and we live in this very small, close knit community, right? Like the watchers of my channel watch you, your watchers watch me, they watch every other person that is in this.
Yeah, I bounce around a lot of these lives, and it's a lot of the same names and faces coming up. I know Jake was live earlier today. He was also live a couple times in the past few days. He had a market chat recently where Mason was actually in the chat. I think I saw him in here earlier too. Jake talks a lot of deep analytics, pop reports, this and that, comparing it to sports, comparing it to other hobbies and collectibles. And Mason's just like, most buyers of all this stuff, they just don't care about any of this. And then I think I replied something in chat like, that's shiny, I like it, it costs X amount of dollars, I have X amount of dollars, I'm gonna buy it. That's the average Pokemon buyer collector. And most of them, even the investor part, the open mouth thumbnail, the whole YouTube investment, PokeTuber investing sphere, I think that's a vast minority too. I think MJ Holdings through Target, through Walmart, they move I don't know if it would be a majority, but they move a lot of product to just kids that open it up. I know 2020, it was a lot of like adult investors, flippers, whatever, scalpers you want to call them. But these days, I think big box stores have been stocked better. Maybe not of Evolving Skies, but Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, things like that.
Sure. I just went to Walmart this morning. I ended up getting a pack of gum, and both Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage ETBs were sitting on the shelves, as well as like a ton of other specialty collection boxes. I'm like, and this is the thing where I talked about as being one of the downfalls of modern. If I didn't own a Darkness Ablaze ETB, which I already own one, and if I didn't own a Vivid Voltage ETB, which I already own one of them, I would have picked up one of those. But I feel like that is the danger for modern. It's reprints, is if I already have my positions in those, which this is a whole nother conversation, but I think it's just as valid, is the amount of room sealed modern product takes up makes you want to puke in your mouth,
Oh yeah. I actually completed like a year ago. I lose track of time. This whole pandemic time has just been like a strange concept. I think it was a year ago, not 2 years ago. Had to be a year ago. I completed an ETB collection, Plasma Storm all the way up to whatever the current one was. And it was
Can
right
I ask
around
you what your price point for Plasma Storm was?
I
Do you remember?
bought an opened one years ago for a few $100.
Yeah.
But I think I bought one around 2,100, a little over 2 grand. Kind
Sealed.
of,
Wow. So
I think
you
it
were
was in,
right at the higher end then.
I think, yeah. Well, I sold mine. I think I sold it for
Wow.
four or a little more.
I'm not familiar with that market then.
I
That's not something
sold,
I follow.
I remember being shocked when I went to look at prices. Like I completed it and then they started coming out with the Pokemon Center ones. And I'm like, I already have nowhere to display this. It's so bulky, takes up so much space. And then they started coming out with the Pokemon Center ones. And I'm like, let me look at the prices of these. And I decided to start moving them. Because I sold XY base, the blue one and the red one. I sold Primal Clash. Again, they were blue and red and Primal Clash. Those were each over 1,000 a piece as well. I want to say they're over two now. The Primal Clash and the XY base ones. Roaring Skies was around 1,000. Furious Fist was several hundred. A lot of those early ones are really expensive.
I'm looking. I don't even know if I could find a recent sale of a Plasma Storm ETB.
Yeah, they don't come up a ton. I remember I actually bought two of them in a short window for right around 2 grand a piece, and it was a decent deal to recent solds. It was through Facebook actually.
So one sold on April 30th. I don't know the price. It was 8,000, but it was a best offer accepted. So I don't know what the best offer was.
Let me see if
on
I can find it
March-
on 130.
Yeah, March 12th, one sold for $2,000, like 1,924.
And there's only one listed, 10K or best offer.
Cosmic Eclipse ETB selling 194. Yeah, but then Sword and Shield Darkness Ablaze on May 8th last sold $34.90.
So 130 point, and 130 point is fallible. It is not guaranteed that this is genuine sale price, but 130 point is saying 6,500 on that 8K OBO.
So yeah, like here's an example of Pokemon Elite Trainer box factory sealed 6 ETBs. So they got Chill and Rain, Fusion Strike, both of the Sun and Moon base, and both of the Sword and Shield. So let's just say they paid $40 a piece. So you're at 80, 160, 240. They sold it for 233. So they potentially lost money on that if they bought those, from distributors. I don't know, man. Holy shit. Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs set of 202.
Which set is that?
The Pokemon or Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs set of 2 though, 202. But this is the thing, like I don't even know what these prices are, Dan, because I'm so far removed from that market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and that's the kind of like I like the ETBs a lot, but again, it just comes down to like Pokemon has got to catch them all. No one can catch them all. No one can catch them all. I want to catch as many as I can. And when I assembled that ETB collection, it came down to I don't have the space to display it. The prices have gone up a ton. I've made good money on it. If I sell all these, I can put that money towards something new for my collection, a card that I've never owned before, and maybe I won't own that one forever. I'm happy. And you know what was great about selling the ETB collection too? I sold some of the big hitters. I sold all the big hitters. Plasma Blast, Plasma Storm, the Primal Clash ones. At least 4 of the people that I sold to, it was their final one they needed. And it was like they were so happy and they sent me so many like it was weird because it's like I'm selling this to you for a lot of money and I'm pretty happy with it too, but they were like, oh, thank you so much for selling it to me. I'm so happy to finally complete this. I've been going after it for 6 months, 2 years, 5, whatever, however long. It's cool to be able to move on from something but help people get to that next step, like completing their collection.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand those, right? Like there's no sorry, I kind of understand them, I should say. Like, I understand why people would need that to complete their collection, but I could understand that about a lot of things in Pokemon, because that is not a thing that nobody's saying, okay, like, here comes the Plasma Blast CTB reprint. Like, this is what everybody's been waiting for. So there's some things that, like, I'm not worried about. But then going back to the topic of storing modern product, like, how many cards do you own that are worth at least $10,000? You own some trophy. We know you own some trophy cards because you showcased them. So let's say one of those trophy cards, we're gonna super low ball it, just super low ball it. We're gonna call it, for your number one Pika, we're gonna call it 50 grand. And just for the sake of argument, do you know how much product you would buy for $50,000 for modern? And where were you gonna store that? So that is the problem when you get to the more high end too, is if you're going to start to really have heavy investments in Pokemon and you're starting to talk in the tens of thousands of dollars, while don't get me wrong, there is definitely, in my opinion, a play for Chill and Rain. But if I had $50,000, I can't park it in Chill and Rain, even if I think it's going to be a great investment, or like what Rudy said, he parked $1 million in Chill and Rain or whatever fake number he threw out there. Where do you park all that stuff? Where do you put it? And then the logistics and the headaches of selling that. Like,
yeah. When you start talking that kind of level, like I think a Pokemon palette is something like, it might be like 80 cases, might be like 480 boxes. I don't know if that makes sense, if that sounds like too many, but that's like, it's a lot of money, but that's only like 40 grand. There are a lot of businesses. There are even a lot of wealthy individuals. If someone decided that I want to park $1 million a month into Pokemon, that's a foreign number to me. And I'm sure 99.99% of people in the hobby. But if someone wanted to truly invest in Pokemon and park that kind of money into it, you'd need a substantial warehouse. You'd need, I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
You're talking climate controls, and you're talking security guards and alarm systems and fork trucks. And you're going to need to hire employees just to maintain your collection, like, where your one trophy card is an entire palette of Pokemon. Like, you as one person can control that. You don't need to hire like that. I think that's what people don't always talk about too. But don't get me, like, this is the thing. I own a lot of modern, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do like modern versus vintage. This whole argument, this whole thing that's been going around our PokeTuber space. I honestly don't even know. Like, if you asked me what percent of your inventory in dollars, today's market value, is in modern versus vintage, I don't even have a good approximation in my head. I kind of want to, I love spreadsheets. I love spreadsheet videos. I kind of want to do a video where I just talk about, I do business in both heavily. I do six figures, mid six figures annually of both modern and vintage. So I just kind of want to do a video where I talk about my splits on what's what, and then like how I transact with each of them. Some of it's churn and burn, some of it's setting some back, and then vintage is a lot more like grading and stuff. I don't really grade a lot of modern, and then looking at like the whole Umbreon VMAX all art, I'm like, I don't know why I'm not playing in that game, because there's money there clearly.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm just thinking, going back to like super recently to my very last purchases, was one graded card was $202, and for the one card I bought. And I'm thinking of how big would $202 of sealed product be, depending on what I bought, And I'm just thinking of like space wise. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
I saw a comment in the chat. I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, but Talisa do you insure cards that are that valuable, like with your house insurance? I think insurance, especially with the numbers we're at today, is something that's very under considered and talked about in the Pokemon space. So like a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I actually made a video on my channel. I have like a business insurance that insures some of the cards that I hold. The most valuable cards in my inventory I hold at like a safe deposit box, but banks don't insure safe deposit boxes. It's not a common thing, but banks can be robbed, banks can be flooded, banks can be burned down. So I actually have, they insure contents like offsite at safe deposit boxes, that they insure on-site things, they insure shipments inbound and outbound. So I do insure everything I have and transact with. But I think, I mean, I know people, 6-figure collections, 7-figure collections that just YOLO it, I guess. Which is scary to think about, especially if you're an investor, right? Like one of the biggest things investors want to avoid is wipeout risk.
If the chat has any questions, now's your time to ask me and Dan.
Peak that Chew actually mentioned that I had a video on it. Peak that Chew, I did see him mention that he wants conversation about the trophy blocks coming up. Have you paid attention much to what's coming up at like Golden, Heritage, Pwcc?
I honestly been so busy with just real life stuff that I haven't had time. Why? What's coming up?
Everything, nearly everything. So
Are any SSBs coming up?
One just sold. SSB, that's the Mewtwo.
Yeah, the Mewtwo, the number 1, number 2, and number 3 trainers.
One of those just sold. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I don't know why I'm doing it on my phone when I have my second screen here. You're familiar with Crystal Pokemon on Instagram?
I know him. Yeah.
He follows the Japanese trophy market heavily. He posted a story today. One of them just sold at auction through like why isn't that coming up? Through a Japanese website.
Was it a raw version though?
BGS 9, I want to say.
Oh wow.
I don't know why he's not coming up when I search.
So what else is coming up? You just said pretty much everything, huh?
Oh,
so we're talking 1, 2, 3 like Pika trophy type stuff, or
literally a 1, 2, 3. I don't.
Who's shaking them out?
Golden, I think, has the 1, 2, 3. I forget if it's 97 or 98.
No, what collector is shaking them out of their collection? I mean,
I don't know what collector it is. But yeah, a 1, 2, 3. They're being sold as a set, which kind of blows my mind. I've talked about like when you lot things together, you limit your buyer pool multiple ways.
That is a crazy lot, though.
It is. Like I'm gonna make a video on this at some point too. I buy lots like not like that because that's way too expensive, but I buy lots of cards lotted together that shouldn't be lotted together, and then I just sell them separately, and I make a decent margin doing that because like a certain amount of people want only the number 1. Yeah. I'm only going to collect the winner. I don't want to collect the second place guy lost, the third place guy lost. I only want to collect the winner's card. Certain people out there like that exist. And then even if you find somebody who wants the 1, 2, and 3, some subset of those people that want them have one of them or 2 of them already. And then say you have somebody who wants them all, who has none of them. They might have 300 grand cash ready to go to buy one of them, but they might not have the million that you might need to get all 3 at once.
Yeah, and with Logan Paul and what's going on right now with that illustrator, who knows what this market is like right now? Are they the 97, 98 Pikas or?
I'm trying to find. I saw somebody posted about it on Instagram. It looks like they deleted their post.
Is it the Charizard Mega Battle or the Blastoise Mega Battle? Do you even know which ones?
It was the 97 or the 98 tournament. I don't remember which one.
I'd be interested. Yeah, I didn't even know that those were up. I mean, I'm not a buyer in those. That's crazy money.
Oh, me neither. A PSA 9 illustrators also going up. There's a lot of other things.
Are they coming out of Germany? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was stated anywhere. I'm not sure.
So Pwcc says the 98s, he's pretty sure.
Yeah, I just found it on Instagram. Somebody that shared it. Actually, Golden. 1998 Pokemon TCG Pikachu 1, 2, and 3 champion prize card trio, including tournament book. And I think the grades are like in the 7s and 8s. But with those cards,
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Basic just said he's looking for 99 people to buy into the trophy cards for 1K ahead. Dude, $99,000 is not buying those cards. Sorry, Basic.
Yeah, maybe step it up to 10K ahead and you might have a shot,
Yeah.
but you still might miss.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the crazy Pokemon money.
And other than that, I want to say there's like Mew orbs and Pika rings and those crazy to call those like mid-tier, low mid-tier trophies.
The lower end ones, yeah.
Low mid of the absolute high-end trophy market. Kangaskhan, I believe, is also there.
What grade is it? Is it a 9 or a 10?
I want to say it was a 9 that was up. So yeah, it's auction 7287 at Heritage. Okay, I just pulled it up.
Are the
I actually
cards
don't know
coming
if
out of Canada, or you don't know? You said.
you want me to just share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
I think you'll need to give me, you need to give me permission. I'm really bad with Nick on the podcast. Nick and I will be talking, and I don't think to share my screen.
Yeah, you should be able to now.
And I'm terrible with having a million windows open too. Let's see if I get the right one.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so yeah. Pikachu Illustrator PSA 9, Kangaskhan PSA 9. There's an Alpha Lotus BGS 7. We got a first base box. We have this is Pokemon Radar's TMB.
Yeah,
CGC 85.
Why did he go with CGC? Was it a low grade PSA?
In a former life, and he was public with this. It was I forget if it was a 6.5 or a 7.5 with PSA. And then he went with CGC. I think it had a ding, and he went with CGC because they treat those less harsh. But yeah, we've got a Pika ring.
Yep.
Deoxys box, Mew orb. We got a tropical wind. Then we've got like complete sets.
Can you go back up? I'd be interested where that Deoxys box land. Hey, and Cool Trainer Ryan was on my chat the other day, or I guess it's like a month or two ago, but he was talking about how the prices for Deoxys has been kind of all over the place.
Then you've got the regular orb and the regular ring.
Yeah, but they're 10s though, huh? Oh, yeah.
PWCC Premier has, I think PWCC Premier, like this month's May, I think it has a PSA 10 base first Charizard, and it has a PSA 10 complete gold star set.
Well, I see the Espeon. What grade was that?
The Espeon was a 10.
Oh, okay.
And solid boxes. You've got Pearl, Scroll. You got set cards too. Garbage Pail Kids uncut sheet.
Dude, I gave away a bunch of Garbage Pail Kids cards to somebody when I like moved out of my mom's house, and like right after college when I moved out, I just gave away like 2 booster boxes full of them.
Oh, and here's the Illusions Zorua and Zoroark cards.
Yep. Yeah.
A complete set of those. Rayquaza Gold Star, PSA 9.
Was that a Japanese Vaporeon Gold Star? Go up. You were scrolling.
Yep, it was the play.
Oh, was it?
Play Jolteon and Vaporeon.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay.
But it's a pretty solid block.
Yeah.
And then this is just Heritage. There's also Golden. I don't know if they have theirs up and viewable yet.
So Ryan, I don't think I'm blowing up his spot. He probably not watching this far in, but I know Red buys all these boxes, or at least buys not all of them. He's always a player in some of them.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I peeked at you. I think he didn't mention just like showing what's coming up. I think he wanted us to talk about presumably like what we think it's going to do. I think it's obvious why the timing of it happened. I think a
Yes.
lot of people saw the $5.275 million Illustrator and they
Yeah,
just want to like ride that wave.
with the Tropical Mega Battle, I think I watched Radar say he was or maybe when he was on my stream, I think maybe he talked about that card, saying that he knew the Logan Paul, purchase happened and he sent it because he's hoping to ride this wave. Now,
I think, yeah,
is
a handful of people with like insider information kind of, I probably shouldn't say it that way because,
I would
but
say that everyone that had major positions from what I seen and heard now, every single person who had major positions now knew. Now, I found that out after the fact. People are pretty good at keeping some secrets. Not all the secrets, but some.
can you see again now?
Yep.
So yeah, here's the set of 3.
So it's a 98, yeah. See, all right. This is where I gotta ask you. PSA 7 to 8s. I would have preferred this set all authentic. No?
I'm someone who is, I don't like authentics at all. If you're paying to have it encapsulated, and especially cards like this, like these are recent certs, 64 million. So
Yep.
they paid for this recently. I don't like the whole hiding yourself from the truth. Like I'm not a buyer for these cards anyways. They're way above my bankroll. But like if I'm buying them, I am much happier to buy them with true real numbers. Like I've said before something about like people who go authentic only because it's not a 10. They're just trying to like soothe their ego. It doesn't make the card any better condition. It just like why obscure the information from yourself? Like
I don't think
it
you're
costs the same
obscuring.
amount of money.
I don't think a 7 matters on a card like that. If it's not a 10 or a 9, I don't think it matters. This is where I talked to you. I had this conversation with you. I said, you ever think about, regrading your 9s and potentially getting a 10. But when it comes to the lower grade, anything less than a 9, at that point, for that card, for me, it's just semantics. So I would rather have the uniformity of authentic grades. I guess that's probably a hot button topic for a lot of people.
Yeah, I never have liked authentic. I'm a guy who like I collect CGC, BGS, PSA. I have a few SGC slabs even. I collect the cards, not the slab, not the plastic, not the label. But I agree with you to some extent on the cards are so rare, the grade shouldn't matter. But look at what the most recent PSA 9 Illustrator publicly sold for, and then look at what the most recent PSA 10 PSA Illustrator sold for. And the Pika trophies are substantially rarer than the 39 copies of the Illustrator. These have like 9 each, I think.
Well, there is an authentic, Illustrator Pikachu there. I had the guy on this channel who used to own it, Pwcc, used to own that card. Now, I would not be amazed if the authentic Illustrator Pikachu sold for that more than that 7 sold for. I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Did he say I watched that that was a really good stream with him. I remember him from back in the day as well, back when he had videos on YouTube. Now they're all private, but did he say approximately like what condition it would be? Is it like a 4? Is it like a
No, I think it's like within that 7 range. It was a weird time. It's just he had that authentic Trophy Kangaskhan too. He had 2 authentics. He was an authentic grader.
the thing with me? It's like again, those cards are way beyond my scale. I'll likely never own them. But if I were like say there was an authentic PSA base first Charizard that someone, hey, I want you to quote my collection, but I'm gonna look at the pictures and I'm gonna say like whatever I think it is, and I'm gonna go like 2 grades down from there to be safe. If it looks like a 7, I'm gonna offer them 5 money
Interesting.
just to be safe because it's maybe on the uber high end though. You're gonna get the thing is though, like if someone really hates the grade, you can always send it in and pay and get it reslabbed, regraded as authentic. I would assume. So I've just never liked it personally.
I just bought a set of cards that I was going to grade authentic. I'll make a video of it maybe for you. Just the It was 2 sevens and an 8. So
At the end of the day, if I'm clearly some people like that. If people want that, go for it. It's just not for me. Kind of like signatures. I don't do signatures at all. I've owned them before, buying out a large collection, and they're just there. If I ever had a high dollar card that became a part of my inventory that I wanted to sell, I'd send it in and pay to get the grade put on it, just so that I knew better what I was working with. Unless, I mean, if it looked like it was going to come back a 3, I guess maybe I'd try to market it towards the people who want the authentic only. I don't know.
do you ever have you owned any authentic cards?
I don't believe I've ever owned a single card that was authentic only.
I think I remember looking at the PSA pop report. I want to say it's some really low number, like 1,800 cards have ever been graded authentic, or maybe less. It's like,
I was just going to pull up Pwcc and see if I could find it.
yeah, it's on the PSA website. I want to say it's less than 2,000. It's crazy low though. But I actually kind of like it for that really high end stuff.
It's 1,099 out
I
of
told
the,
you it was
out of
less
the
than 2,000.
3.66. Yeah. Out of the
Yeah.
3.66 million Pokemon
Yeah.
cards graded.
Somebody's graded a couple because I remember it being like in the 1,800s. So, but let's see. Marty the Martian. I just happened to look over at the chat when Dan walked away quick. He said, at Knowledge, where did you have your playmat made and how long did it take? So it took 3 days and I did it on Amazon. And it was the easiest thing I ever did. It was $19 and change. All you do is like upload the photo into like the photo box and it shipped the same day.
Wow.
So when it shipped the same day, I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I just bought a mat with nothing on it. That's what I thought they did, but they actually printed it on the same day. So. Pwcc said, thanks for discussing that. No, I thanks for even bringing that to my attention. I don't look at Golden that often, so I'm not even aware sometimes when that stuff goes on. Did you buy anything in the last PWCC auction or see the prices things were selling for?
Not really. I haven't been looking at PWCC too much recently. I did bid on a couple things, but I didn't win anything at all. I'm trying to be good, and I'm trying to be more of a net seller in the short term to build up capital for if and when some big things come up, kind of like these auctions ending later this month and next month. I wouldn't mind potentially picking up mid-tier trophy type stuff if the prices are right.
G1 T Landon says he has the same mat. If he's talking about my mat, that would be impossible because I literally just created this. It has my name on the bottom. I hope you don't have the same mat unless you copied my thumbnail and now you have it. Then that would be cool. But yeah, I was super happy with my Photoshop skills to get that dollar bill in there. So the Zard Hunter said, did you already talk about the raw to CGC to auction? Oh, yeah. Great question. And what's going on? Well, what I mean,
did you see my video today?
I thought you were trolling us for a second. What's going on with that Pikachu from Celebrations? And I was curious. I was like, what is Dan onto? He knows something I don't know. So I went and looked at eBay auctions and it was like, buy it now, $14.
For a CGC 9, right?
9.5, I think.
Ooh, if a 9.5, I might lose money there. We'll see. my thing was like, if I get the 10, and it'll be funny because I'll probably get an 8.5 and all will be right in the world.
Yeah.
But my thing was, it was interesting. Multiple people messaged me and they're like, what are you doing sending a 20-cent card? You're going to lose money. And it's like, well, I'm going to lose $20.20. I'm not afraid to lose $20.20. My downside is losing $20. My upside, if I hit the 10, if I hit the perfect, I don't know if there's sales history on that, but I would have to guess a full art Pikachu, perfect 10 has got to be $100. There's no way it's not $100.
Are you trolling us? Are you really trying to go for the perfect 10 on a mass grade? I mean, when we talk about investing on this channel, this is not the stuff I'm talking about. But I want to know, so what you did, I was like, okay, this is what somebody does who has a massive following and like their AdSense revenue is able to justify this.
Oh, $20 is easy. I mean, $20 is.
Are you doing it just for the content? I mean,
I'm doing it to experience the service. I actually think the service could be valuable to certain people. I think the service could be valuable to me even. I'm one person. I'm a one-man operation and I have limited time. If I can send some amount of stuff, I mean, if I make $5 on this card,
you're not. That card's not selling for 25, dude.
I'm trying to pull up the pop report right now. I don't see any sales of CGC 10s on eBay.
But do you hear yourself? I mean, I saw you sent some Greninjas too. What are Greninjas selling for right now?
There's only 2 pristine 10s in the pop report for that
Stop
card.
talking about the 10s. This is like going back to early 2020 mania and quoting PSA 10 prices, but instead we're quoting Pop Zero CGC cards.
It's got people talking, right? It's got people talking and reacting, so it must have been decent content.
Yeah.
The Greninja Gold Star, it's another one. It's like it's a $2 card, $3 card. I see CGC 9.5s that sold for that one sold for $26. They're selling for it. One of them sold for 60, one of them sold for 20. Again, like I took a shot on some super low cost things trying to hit the 10, playing the 10 lottery. My downs, I'll probably lose more money on the Scream cards, if anything. Those Scream cards I could sell raw today for probably 100 a piece. And if I grade them an 8.5 or a 9 and they auction for 50, having paid 20, I might lose $80 on those Scream cards. Worst case scenario, I'm only losing 20 here.
What are you doing? This is crazy. This is insane.
It's content.
Like, I saw it was like, okay, like, sure, he's got a gold star Entei, whatever. Like
the grand party. I mean,
the grand party said you think it's gonna get like a 5 or 6. So you're flipping at the beginning. I'm like, oh, okay, like I guess, and then you just kept going. I was like, he's trolling us. This isn't a real video. Like this isn't.
It's a valid service out there. I mean, I utilize both CGC and Pwcc separately. So the fact that it came about, the fact that it exists, I think it's something, doing the YouTube thing, right? Like talking about something new while it's hot, while it's relevant. I want to experience it for myself and see that if it can be any kind of a tool for my business. The cards that I sent on the first batch were a wide variety. I wanted to see some modern. I wanted to see some vintage. I wanted to see some like more damaged stuff, like the Entei as well. Wasn't like minty mint, I don't think. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be a couple of videos, see how it pans out.
It's gonna be an expensive video, man.
Not real. I mean, it's all relative, right? Like I do worst case scenario over just auctioning those raw or grading those properly and taking them back and selling them as buy it nows. If I lose a couple $100,
I'll make you a deal. When your Pikachu celebration card at 8.5 comes up, I'll give you the $10 minimum bid.
It's funny. Someone said that in my comments. So like, I'm going to make a video when I get my grades, and I'm going to make a video like not only when I have my grades, but when the auction block is picked. So I'll say, hey guys, just so you know, these cards are going up. And I mean, I might get somebody to bail me out for $10 and I'll only lose 10 instead of 20.
Yeah, I'll bail you out for your 8.5. And you're going to be like, no, I literally found the most minty one I had. I got an 8.5.
I mean, I do have like, it's funny. I probably will get an 8.5, but I normally don't do extensive pre-grading. I did pretty decent pre-grading. I got a lot of that card.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. I got a lot too, but not that many. Speaking of cards, I got a lot of. So I don't know if you watched Rusty's most recent video. He just did a pickup of a Greninja Gold Star, something you just sent. and he got them from TCG Player, and they sent them to him all sealed. And my most recent purchase from TCG Player, like a couple weeks ago, I got 14 of them just because I've been picking them up anytime I see them drop below $3 just to have them. Dude, they sent me every single one of them raw, and every single one of them had the most damage on it that I've ever seen. Like
Oh, really?
I have no clue, and it was all from the same seller. I have no clue what happened.
I probably have like 300 of those, and I want to say over half of them are sealed.
Yeah,
I bought some of them on eBay as sealed, but I bought a lot of them. I bought over 100 on TCG
I have
Player.
over 100 as well, and 14 are now open.
I mean, we're kind of knocking modern sealed investing, and then we're going out and buying 100 plus of like a modern promo that everyone has 100 plus of.
Yes.
But I also do have, I don't have hundreds, I have dozens.
Yeah,
of
well,
these.
the way I look at stuff like that, card's going to be easy to bail myself out. When PSA grading comes down to $10 and I get $20 a card for those at PSA 10s, like, dude, I'll make my money back so fast, you know? Like, I'll need to sell like 5 or 6 of them in PSA 10s for $20 and recoup almost all my money.
Yeah, I think it's like I've already allocated
Dude, the 1999 PSA 10 buy it nows, like the modern collector is not ready for that. Like I am ready for that. I'll be that guy. Like I'm ready to do the 1999 buy it nows and make money doing it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about the whole CGC, and CGC PWCC is doing it now. In a year from now, I'd be shocked if PSA doesn't have a relationship with like the eBay vault potentially. I know PSA eBay is a lot more mainstream and a lot more accepted in the hobby than like CGC and PWCC. So like imagine that service though. Imagine you can send whatever you want, 20, $30 a card, and you literally just ship it off, and then it gets graded. It goes right to the eBay vault, and then you can either store it there as a buy it now, or you can auction it off. It's really interesting, just all the huge moves that these mammoth companies are making in the trading card space.
What do you think about the eBay vault? How do you think they're going to roll it out?
I think they're already from select people starting to acquire inventory. I'm not one of those select people. I'm not that big of a guy to where they reached out to me to like get product in. But as far as I understand, I think they already mentioned a number. Is it $2,000 minimum or $1,000 minimum to start?
For per card?
To send cards in. I want to say they came out with some kind of an announcement.
Wait. Total value for your submission or total value per card?
Like if you want to send in a card to be stored in the eBay vault, it's not available to be sent to yet, but similar to the eBay authenticity guarantee, you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
They're going to start at a high number, and they're going to phase it in so that they don't get like inundated.
Oh, I'm going to inundate them. Not with $1,000 cards, but like once the eBay vault becomes a thing, I'm just hoping they do like some promo, like lifetime storage fee. Just send us what you have for this month or whatever, and it'll just be like dump.
So I have a text from them. I enrolled in their like text updates. I got texted on Monday, April 18th was the last text. At launch, the eBay vault will accept all graded cards $750 plus purchased on eBay. So if you come to like my store and you buy a whatever it is for $1,000, instead of shipping it to you, you can ship it directly to the eBay vault. I may already have it stored in the eBay vault, so it might not even be a shipment. It just like PWCC works. It'll go from my digital vault to your digital vault. But yeah, so similar to I don't know why I was thinking $2,000, but similar to the authenticity guarantee, it's going to start at $750 and then it will phase in. If they're smart, they'll never take in like sub $50 cards. PWCC, if they could go back in time 2 years ago or a year ago, whenever that was, because I sent them 700 cards. They would take, I think it needed to be a $50 average So I sent in like a PSA 9 Master Scroll, and then that one card allowed me to send 200 just junk slabs.
Yeah.
And I sent 700 total. I sent a large part of my personal collection and a lot of my inventory because it was free intake, free storage forever. And I'm sure eBay will do the similar kind of promos to start, because they're all vying for market share. They're trying to get as much market share as possible out of the gate. Because once you get your cards locked in, like right now, if I wanted to empty my PWCC vault, I still have hundreds of cards left. It's a fairly cumbersome thing, and I have to pay like 1% value. Not that it's crazy, but
I talked about this in private to somebody the other day, like how I don't ship myself my cards home because it just ends up costing so much in the long term.
Yeah. But I'm sure once the eBay vault launches, there will probably be a decent amount of withdrawal requests from the PWCC vault, and they won't be going like to where the people live. They'll be going to whatever the address is for that eBay vault.
Yeah, I've already been thinking about that.
Maybe right down the road. I think there's multiple sales tax free states. The eBay vault will also be in one. I don't know if it'll be right down the street in Oregon, or if they might be in like Delaware or something, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I intend, like, when the eBay vault launches, I'm going to do the YouTube thing. I'm probably going to take like 10 or 20 cards from my inventory. I'm going to ship them in. I'll make a video on it. I'll talk about it. That was actually one thing that I skipped. I've still not bought a card through the eBay authenticity guarantee.
Me neither.
Now they're doing it with graded.
The one card I thought about buying was fake.
Like, I've sold cards through it now, but I've not yet bought any. I have shipped just today, actually. I haven't taken them there. I'm going to take them there tomorrow. But I got a couple things going to the eBay vault because they were over 250 graded.
Okay.
Or not to the eBay vault, to the eBay authenticity guarantee.
So I was just looking over at the chat real quick. Echo Base Collectible, shout out to Joe. He said, y'all see Troll and Toad just cut bulk prices from 3 cents to 1.5 cents. I did not see that, but we're back. The market, this is it. This is the beginning.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a huge decrease in price.
I remember I made a thread years ago on E4 about the collapse of bulk pricing. I remember when it went from 6 cents to 1 cent.
Yep.
And that was when I was like, I wasn't mass opening things, but I was opening products by the case.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really now. Like, if I scraped as deeply as I could to try to accumulate all the bulk that I could around me, I don't think I have 10 or 20,000 bulk cards right now. And back in the day, there were times where I had over 100,000. So it's not huge for me, but there are some businesses, when you talk about cutting bulk 50%, that is extremely massive. I mean, that has big implications.
Yeah. And all that, trade your bulk for booster boxes and all that stuff. Like, trust me, there's a real quick trickle down effect. They're not going to be accepting your 3,000 or 3,500 bulk for booster boxes right now.
Because Troll and Toad is one of the big dogs that most of the little guys base their prices off. If Troll and Toad's paying 3.5, some people will pay 3.75 to beat them. Yeah. But now those people are only going to have to pay 1.75 or 2.
You said Booyah said he dumped all his bulk like 8 months ago. You say Booyah, is he in your Pokenomics Discord?
I don't believe so, no.
He's somebody I've been trying to get on this channel for a while. He keeps shunning me.
He could be. I mean, some people are like on YouTube as one name, in Discord as another, on Instagram as another. It's hard to track, but I'm pretty sure he's not.
Ancient Muse said, are there billions of bulk cards out there? Well, Dan just earlier this video said since 2020, we've seen 3.7 billion Pokemon cards printed. Yes, there's over 1 billion cards worth of bulk out there.
Yeah. And that's 1 year. I think our inception to date, I think it's something like 37 billion cards have been printed.
Bulk is so underrated for making money. In a way, yes. In a way, no. Your trainers that are selling for, over $1, are those underrated? Yes, totally. But dude, bulk is such, I don't do it because I know what's entailed. Like Nick, old school Pokemon, dude, how he grinds that when he shows me his sales history and stuff, and half of his sales comes from
99¢.
oh, it's like that is such a brutal thought, I don't even know how he must have a crazy mind to be able to do that, like not go crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you make money doing that. I mean, when the bulk rate's 3 cents and he's making 15 to 25 cents to $1 sometimes, like that's a big profit margin, But
Oh yeah, it's a great margin, especially now that it's 1.5 cent for bulk, but it's a lot of work. I don't envy him. We talk a lot, obviously, with the podcast and all that. And sometimes he'll send me his Monday shipments. And mine are like this, and his are like a lot more. a lot of plain white envelopes too. I don't really do anything that goes sub 20. Even that
speaking of envelopes, do you send out the purple energy yet?
I did. I sent it out. He should have it by now. I sent it out the day after our podcast.
Okay.
I was gonna get it out earlier, but I'm like, I might as well shout this out at the front end so that it maybe gets a few more people following the Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. So for anybody out there who's watching this video, don't know what we're talking about, there's here's its brother's card. There's a CGC 8.5 purple energy floating out there, and anybody that receives it will donate $20 to a charity of their choice. They'll sign the slab. There's an Instagram page that follows like the trajectory and the path of that card, and then that person then sends that card to somebody else. Yeah. So this is the Instagram for it. So this is the first stop it had. Famous pizzeria in New Haven, Connecticut. Pepe's Pizza in New Haven. And then Dan, you want to talk about what this is?
Yeah, that's actually what my current background is. Somebody early on in the stream asked where my graded cards were behind me, but I'm really close to the FX Matt Brewery. They make Utica Club, which is kind of a regional beer in the Northeast, mostly New York, upstate New York. But they also make Saranac.
Oh,
People
yeah, I
might
know
be familiar.
Saranac, yeah.
Like Saranac root beer is more of a national thing. Saranac also makes beers. So yeah, it's a local brewery. Anyone who's known me or followed me for a while, familiar with my eBay from years ago, it used to have Steins in the name. I used to buy and sell a lot of the Steins from this brewery. And then this is like some of the other stuff. Like this is a chalkware thing, like a bar back display. It would hold like straws and whatever. This is from the 1940s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the tin on the left and the tin that's in the picture on Pokey Purple Energy, that's a reproduction tin. So it's like the XY evolutions. It's not the base set first edition, but the original tin that's a reprint of, I want to say that's like from the 20s or the 30s.
So Ancient Muse said, could you donate with super chats? No, if you guys want to donate, you just donate on your own because YouTube will take half that money.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a cool thing because I wanted to do it to be a charity thing, but I wanted people to just like kind of do it on their own. And when you get it, you do just $20 to a charity of your choice. And I look at it this way, like if we had a bunch of people sign it and then maybe we auction it off, like who knows what it would really sell for? Like nobody really wants the signature of a bunch of PokeTubers, but if every single person who gets that card donates $20, that card realistically has the potential to create like hundreds and thousands of dollars potentially in the life of that card. Like already, I did 20 to a place called Dan's Cosgrove's like animal rescue. They're based out of Branford, Connecticut. And then you did $20 to
the Relay for Life.
Relay for Life.
Yeah.
And then Nick's going to get it within probably the week. He's going to donate $20. That's already $60 in the matter of, less than a month. Like that's way
Mhm.
more than any auction would ever bring for that card. And if it does wind up at auction someday, like I don't know. Echo said I bid $1,000, so he said for real. And if that card ever did go up for auction, I would also try the bid and get that card too, and donate to charity. But I don't see that being a trajectory of that. I just want it to be like charity because I think in this community, like, well, first of all, charity is always such a great thing, right? And it's
Mhm.
something we always want to do, but sometimes it's hard to implement it. And you're always doing it privately, but like to do it in a more public forum and for people to get excited about something. And I don't know if anybody reached out to you about that card, but I know when I had talked about it in my very first video, there was a lot of interest in people that wanted that card to, travel through their hands in order to donate.
Oh yeah, we had a couple people comment on the I don't know who Nick has selected next, but Mason was our guest during that podcast, and he mentioned that he'd love to have it pass through his hands. Pokemon Classics commented on the video as well. He said he already has an idea for if and when he gets it, what he's gonna do with it. So
And I could guarantee Echo definitely wants that card passing through his hands so he could.
It'll be interesting too, just to see, like, I mean, hopefully it travels the world. International shipping would kind of add some time on in between, like the legs of the trip, but
Yep.
it's been to Connecticut, it's been to New York, now it's going to Massachusetts. It'll be cool to just hit a lot of the country, hit different parts of the world, and then like you got to see my local brewery, you got to see a local pizzeria near you, maybe see some interesting tidbits of history and landmarks around some of your favorite PokeTubers, content creators, whatever. And then see what charities they're donating to, and I mean, maybe people will find new charities that they can explore and look into supporting themselves.
No, I think it's cool. And I don't know if you've ever seen on like bills, they used to have stamps once in a while. It was like, where's
Yep.
George.com. I don't know if you remember those.
Yep.
Like what that Instagram kind of does is more or less like the where's George of that purple energy. And just the fact that
Yep.
it's called purple energy is just funny. Like it's just funny.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. That's why I figured holding it an extra couple days to get it on the podcast, and showed it right at the front there. We go like 3 hours. If I showed it at the end, it would have been 3 people seeing it, but I got it right up front. So
Rattle just said, we got to be careful because if he gets it, we know how he likes to crack slaps.
yeah. Yeah, Rattle's not allowed.
He said he'll have to buy it at auction to crack it.
Yeah.
No, trust me, that card, even like the thought of that card one day hitting auction is so far down the line. Like that thing's going to travel for, I would guess, like a few years, maybe.
Rattle will buy it and crack it, and then he'll just send it around to get it signed again raw.
Yeah.
Lap 2.
But yeah, that is a pop 2. And this is the other one.
Somebody mentioned in chat they live about 15 minutes from the brewery, the Utica Club Brewery.
Oh, that's
Small
cool.
world. Yeah.
It is a small world. Oh. See. But yeah, Dan, I appreciate you stopping in last minute. It's 11:22 here, and I'll turn into a pumpkin. I still got work in the morning. But
Me too, but my boss is pretty cool. I could start late if I wanted to.
yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you having me on too. I didn't plan at all to hop into a live. I had a plan to just do a few eBay listings and check out the basketball games, but this beat it by far. Had a pretty upsetting showing by the Rangers, so I needed something to distract me from what I watched there.
Yeah, no, I always love talking Pokemon, and this is just what I live for. And again, for anybody who's just tuning in now, the whole reason I did this live was just so I could show off my playmat that I made. And I can't wait for this to be the background. And it was funny that like me and Echo talking about this a while ago was what like made me go make this thing.
I still need to listen. That's still in my watch later, that live stream. I'm so bad with, like, I consume a lot of YouTube content, but there's so much YouTube content put out that my watch later grows really long, and it does help to churn through it on like 1.5x, but it's still tough.
So you're definitely a 2.5er, or sorry, not 2.5, a 2.0
I've
speed or
been told, yeah.
1.75.
I've been told I'm an easy 2-0. So
I'm definitely like a 2.0 or 1.75er.
yeah.
But then like a Danny Phantom is only like a 1.25 speed.
And at times it feels like you might need to drop it down to 0.75 times.
Yeah. I watch like every single one of Rattle's gameplay videos, and that is definitely like a 2x because that game just has to move a lot faster, especially when you're waiting for the other. He does a good job of talking through the moves and stuff,
Yeah.
but waiting for the other guy to make a move and like, put all his trainers out and everything, it just takes a while.
Yeah. It'd be nice, probably for me, even. I mean, there's probably people that could take me up to 2.25, 2.5, but I don't think YouTube allows that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like all the people on here that I like, and I watch every single video they put out. Like, did you watch Echo Base Collectibles ramp video he did in the drive?
I did. I think I commented on that one too. Um, I watched a couple of his videos recently.
So I watched the old card shops. He's been doing some good lives lately.
Cardboard Hands. I've listened to all of them, but I sometimes it's like 2 or 3 weeks after they're done.
Yeah.
I do enjoy their podcast though too.
And then Jake and Rattle, and watch a lot of DeGreen Shiz, and then I guess Pokey Flips is on here. I don't know who put this on my watch list. And then Professor Oak is always fun. And then you're on here. TCA game, and I always like put TCA on almost all the time.
Yeah, for me it's really easy. I mean, I've got like a 2 monitor setup. So one of my monitors, it's like I just half screen. I really don't watch a lot. I listen a lot. So like long form content like this, like Jake was live earlier, but I wasn't in it. I'll put that on tomorrow morning on 1.5x, and that'll be when I'm packaging orders or doing eBay listings. It's on half of one screen, and then Discord or something is on the other, and then I'm actually working on the one screen.
Yeah. So at work, I move around a lot. I'm always like, like on the go. So I always have my headphones in, just, wireless headphones, and I'm just listening to some Pokemon video in the background.
Yo,
And it helps throughout the day to like, just kind of keep your mind, maybe not off work, but just like in a nice space, right? Where you're always happy and listening. And it just helps the day go by faster. And by listening throughout the day, you don't like get just swamped. So I was also thinking about making a video one day where, very similar to what you were doing, just sharing your screen. I was thinking about going through like all my older lives and not like watching them, but just doing a live and just talking about every one. Because there's probably so many people out there that haven't seen them all, or maybe like discovered my channel relatively recently, and then just go through them and be like, guys, like in this video, like this is the first time Dan Ketchum Collectibles came on, or this is the first time. Because and the reason why I want to do that is because next month I have somebody coming on this channel that is the craziest guest I will ever have, and like the guest I'm looking forward to the most. And I'm not going to spoil it because it's scheduled right now for June 10th, but that's still a month away. And if anything were to come up, I don't want to get canceled.
yeah.
But I have never been so like giddy about doing a live with somebody else. And I know I will, and it's going to be different too. Like it's going to be during the day. I have PTO that day, so their schedule doesn't work like at night like this, and doesn't work on the weekends. It only works like during a work day. So we're gonna do the live at like 10 a.m. or 11. No, I think it's 11. I think we scheduled it for 11 a.m. on a Friday.
I
So
feel like I could guess, but I won't.
don't guess. It's a
I
secret.
won't.
But like I promise you, it's like gonna be one of the craziest, happiest moments of my life. And
You mean you weren't that happy when I came on tonight, or when
I'm
I came
happy
on my
right now,
first
Dan.
live?
But like this live hasn't even happened yet, and it's already like I'm smiling thinking about it, just because I could ask this person so many questions, and it's just like everyone knows them too. So it's gonna be wild, and I'm just excited about it. But it's crazy too, is everybody that comes on lives and stuff is how like nice people are by donating their time too. Like people don't realize it. Like when you donate your time to people to like come and do lives and stuff or make these lives, like that means a lot to people. Like it means a lot to me. Like the fact that you want to come on and chat, like that means a lot. So
Yeah, time is our most. I mentioned earlier, everyone's budget, everyone's finances are limited to some extent, but even more so, everyone, no matter your financial situation, no matter anything about everyone's time is limited. I mean, we've all only got so many minutes, so many hours, and it's definitely the most important thing. So, but time well spent. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be a handful of eBay listings behind. I can make up for that some other time. I can't always chat Pokemon with people, so when I get the opportunity, I usually go for it.
let me ask you, so
Whatever basketball game I'm missing,
on
I'll
your
find
day
out what happened in a little bit.
on your day to day, Dan, how much of your time when obviously when you're not just like with your family, with your kids or your wife, how much of your day is in your brain Pokemon Go? Like what how much of your day are you thinking about Pokemon? Because I can tell you right now, like a lot of my day is consumed by Pokemon. And if I don't go on these lives and just talk sometimes, like it's almost like information overload. And I have to like regurgitate some of this stuff. Even if I'm not saying anything of importance, sometimes I just
It,
need to talk about it.
it's like a pressure relief valve, basically. Let some of it out. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I do this full time. So like the 50 hours a week that I'm actively working, it's obviously Pokemon on my mind almost that whole time that I'm working. I've got YouTube playing of some kind of content, and it's it's on my mind a lot. I've been back into it for 8 years, even when it wasn't my job full time. It's only been I mean, I've been doing YouTube for a year now, but it didn't used to be YouTube so much. It was like the forum E4 I used to be really active on. And it's funny now that I do it full time, I'm not as active on the forum, but now I'm a little bit more active in Discords.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm too much probably, but
Well, with YouTube and even your Discord, like I'm sure you're hopping on probably Discord voice and stuff like that. It's so much easier to express your opinions like by talking opposed to writing messages. Like
oh
reading
yeah.
chats, typing stuff, so much gets lost in translation. And like especially if you do one typo and then your entire like paragraph now doesn't make sense or the total opposite thing you were trying to say like goes off. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, text only is not the best way. Discord is cool because you get like gifs and stuff, and you get emojis can do a little bit, but gifs are a funny way to communicate information, and sometimes can work better. A well-timed and a well-placed gif
Oh
can
yeah.
be a better than any words can convey, like your reaction to something or
Well, I started this channel on well-timed memes, so
yeah.
I could definitely
Yeah.
relate to that.
Yep. Yeah,
But
because I mean, you can have no typos, and you can think for 20 minutes into typing up a nice, well thought out response, and then people just lose. There's no tone, and there's no tone to it. There's no facial expressions. Text only is just tough. I mean, people can read the same sentence or the same paragraph and take out different meanings depending on what they thought your tone was.
yep. Yeah. No, it's always fun. But yeah, so for everybody else out there, me and Dan both appreciate you guys joining. If you guys haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. I don't know what. All right, I would just say this right now. If there is a single person out there that made it through the 2+ hours of this video and you're somehow not subscribed, you know what? Do me a favor, don't subscribe because I don't want you to subscribe if you made it this far and you still don't want to subscribe. But no. All right. No, but seriously, guys, we appreciate every one of you guys and you guys really make this fun for both of us. So but
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Thanks everyone. Chat's been fun. I hopped in, I think 5 minutes after you started, so I was able to catch the whole thing too. So
awesome. I appreciate you joining and I appreciate you, just chatting with me. You definitely help the time go by fast. So
yeah, it's already 11:30. Crazy.
yeah. All right, guys.